Greetings, my beloved Black people. Welcome back to the plight and struggle of Black people in America. As you know, on Sundays, we have our Prominent Black People series. And as usual, we have a very special guest. And just like always, this brother here, wow, he's so special to me. Oh, man. I'm going to bring him on. This brother is phenomenal, I tell you. Wow.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, man. How you feeling?
I'm blessed, man. Thankful to be here. Appreciate the invite, as always.
Thanks for showing, because, you're a jewel in Dallas, Texas, man.
That's what they tell me.
It's real talk. Some people don't even know. You know what I'm saying? But you the man. I already know. Matter of fact, I'm going to just start out because on the introduction part, I didn't do much. But I like people to know that I've been knowing you since you were 15 years old.
Long time.
I met you.
Yeah.
I was a friend of your father's, you see. And so you was 15, so I was like, I think I'm 8 years older than you, something like that.
Right.
So, and what's so interesting, you were like younger than me, but I was your pop's friend.
Right.
But I was even more younger than your pop than you were than me. I'm about 14 years older than your pop, like 20 years older than me.
Wow.
And we was friends. You see
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
And so I wonder what factor did that play in us getting to be so tight? Because you remember I was doing that rap song Drug Problem back in the day, and you even made me a beat for it. And that was my first time ever in the studio. And me, you, and Willie went, your cousin, the same brother that did these graphics behind me. And you made that happen.
Yeah, shout out Willie.
It up. Oh, yeah. I mean, you had Willie hook it up, and he did a great job, excellent job. I mean, I ain't trying to put your business out there, but you hooked it up for me. You paid for it. You come and set up my podcast that I didn't know how to do. And all this was last year. So I don't know what I'd do without you, go. And then you messed around and gave me a heck of an award. Gave me an award saying King of Kings in Dallas, Texas. You heard me?
Come on now. You deserve
I appreciate this, go.
Yeah.
Say, man.
And so let's start out by going back a little bit. How you got the trophy is when I met you at 15, you worked with my dad, like you said, and then, we went to the studio. That's when rap kind of was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And just down through the years, you always took a position of following your purpose, building a community, being a mentor to young men. And it's just ironic that you were a mentor to me when I was a teenager. And here I am, 48 years old, almost 50. So it's almost a little bit over 30 years.
Wow.
Just being real, just being there, always being positive, shining that light for Black people. But, you shined it on me. So I just want to thank you, salute you, brother, for just always being and doing what you say you're going to do.
I know that's right. And that's what we got to do. See, especially if we dealing with them children, we got to set great examples for them.
Absolutely.
So that they recognize that it's a lot of good brothers and sisters out here. Sadly, a lot of our people only get acquainted with us like foreigners through media.
Right.
And the media is going to always do us bad.
Every time.
You see, because we're not the beloved people in America. We're not.
Right.
Sadly. You see.
Right.
But we are the most beloved people that exist, you see.
Come on now.
Yeah. So life is real interesting. And I see the progress and growth in us Black people. We move forward.
Yes, sir.
And upward and every other way in a positive light. That's what's happening. They
sure.
try to bombard society with all the negative, and then many people buy into it that's not participating in great things, see?
Right.
You only know about these good things if you're participating, you see? Because mainstream not going to do us correctly.
Right.
And I don't even want to give them enough to do us correctly because they don't care nothing about us. We got to show the love for us. And then the masses of our people will come aboard when they see these people serious. They talked about it. They doing it. And I always say the bandwagon people are welcome. Come on. We want y'all to come. Absolutely.
Yeah, come on.
It was years ago when I first come to Dallas, probably the first year. Brother I met, in Richardson, Texas, at his house, pretty good house. And another friend of his was there. We was talking about black people and how to get us together.
Yes.
And one of the brothers say, well, black people ain't going to do nothing unless you give them something. And I was thinking, is that true? I'm like, shit, well, let's give them something. That's what I thought. But they was saying that, but they was like complaining like that. That's bad. You ain't going to do unless you give them something. But my thing is solutions.
Right.
And I'm like, well, if that's the solution, let's do it.
Right.
I was thinking, well, let's give them something.
Yes, yeah. And so that's kind of why I wanted to come on today, just to speak on unity. Right. Because I believe unity is solution based. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm real excited to be here. And you know, like I said, over 30 years of not only a friendship, but I mean, this has been like family. You have been there not only for me, but for my wife, for my kids. And you just gave and gave and gave. And so that's a rare find, you know, especially in today's culture. So as we start talking about unity, you know, sometimes that little element that you possess and that God has, you know, allowed me to possess, that's what's needed.
Yeah, and then share that mindset with our brethren, our brothers and sisters. Yeah,
exactly.
Because a lot of us don't understand the process of caring about our ancestors and elders.
Come on now. Yeah.
So we need to talk more and more about it, because I remember when I wasn't a student in this ancestry thing. And then through my exposure to things in different places and different people, then this knowledge comes to you. See, that's why I say people that are participating know about the vibe that black people are on. We're on our way. You see, we're at the threshold of being that united people that you talk about. You see, and that's the ingredient that's missing. We have everything else. I hear people talk about in the 60s, that's where we was at. We had the mindset, this, that, and the other. And I contend, yes, we had the mindset then, but we didn't have the finances then. But we do now, collectively.
Right.
You see, and so now we just need to go and get our heads right, get that proper mindset of being unified as a people. That's a natural thing. The thing of it is, we went through an unnatural experience with chattel slavery.
Right.
And even though it has ended decades ago, the residual effects are still lingering.
Right.
You see, anytime you have a black people in America that got a white Jesus in their house, something ain't right.
Right.
And that does exist. Not even just in their house. We even got black churches with a Jesus in the black church. A white.
I remember
Jesus
you fought there in West Dallas, you know, to get
in West Dallas, Reverend Spears.
That was big though.
And what was so great, he didn't have a problem with it. There were parishioners in the church saying, "Oh, you gonna make them sick?" To ask them that question. Make them sick? That didn't make sense to me. And I sat down with Reverend Spears. This brother was 80-something years old. And I told him what I wanted to do. And their place where they baptized, you know, up there on the thing, they had a white Jesus and a white John the Baptist. And it looked so terrible, so horrific.
Yeah.
And even though I'm talking about the color to a degree, but the artist didn't even do a good artistic job. Even that was botched. You see what I'm saying? And so I went and talked to Reverend Spears, and I asked him, I say, Reverend Spears, would it be all right if I brought an artist in to paint that Jesus and John the Baptist black instead of white? He had no problem.
I remember.
and it was an artist that Booker T. Washington Arts Magnet that we brought in to paint that Jesus and John the Baptist the proper color.
Wow.
And the thing about it, the brothers look 1,000 times better than them white boys. It looks so much more like truth.
Right.
And that was a great project. I'm glad you brought
that was.
Yeah. I love projects, them pro-black projects. Matter of fact, it's a lady in Oak Cliff. I forget her name, but she's my ex sister-in-law.
Okay.
But she got some kind of, it's Highland Hills. It's some kind of organization. She got nonprofit. She be trying to feed people and everything else. And I'll say little things like the last thing I said, I love to see people that focus on helping others, right? Anyway, she responded and said something about a trailer they're trying to do. I don't even know the topic or subject of the trailer. She know I used to pursue the acting thing, and she asked would I get involved. I told her definitely. So I'm real curious to see what the concept is of the trailer. But with that lady, I'm sure it's something about people helping people.
Come on now.
So I'm like excited and looking forward to that. I just saw that last night.
Wow.
You see, and I just sent the messenger thing when I saw it. So that's interesting, really interesting.
Real interesting. Yeah. And you know, it's a lot of that going on throughout the city and just throughout the nation of Black people showing resilience, showing a heart for Black people, and you know, not just Black people, people of all colors. I like to say I'm not anti-white, but I am pro-Black. And so Absolutely. A lot of times, you know, people don't want to recognize that traction that's happening around the country. You know, people are starting businesses, people are giving back, you know, people are actually caring. And so I believe those are some of the beginning steps of unity in the Black community.
Definitely ingredients of it that we need for sure. No doubt about that. And like you said, though, to me, ever since the pandemic, it looked like we've been just growing. You know, been more Blacks starting businesses. Like you say, doing more initiatives to help others. And, you know, children have been my passion forever. That's my world of children. That's what I love, you know, the babies. But I deal with grown people too, don't get me wrong. But the babies, that's my passion. I love children. For sure. Like you say, of all kinds, even though my thing is this, though, you have to prioritize. Okay. And for Black people, we're the target. So we've got to know that self-preservation is the #1 law of nature and then act on it.
Right.
You see, self-defense is legal. Yeah. So if somebody attack you, put their hands on you, you have the right and everything else to defend yourself. Right. You see? So, like you said, pro-Black doesn't mean anti-anybody. Right. It means just what it says. Right. Pro-Black means for my Black people doing well. That's what that is.
But
you don't have
to
to
some
hate
people,
somebody.
But I don't mean to cut you off, but to some people, what I've realized in my professional career, in my personal life, that, you know, typically when you speak for yourself, being Black and how you love Black and you love Black people, that's racist to some people. And it sounds absurd because in every town, every major town in this country, you have a little Italy, you know, you have a little Mexico, you have a Chinatown. So other races, other nationalities and ethnicities seem to showcase themselves and their love for their people. You know, if you got Chinatown, that's kind of saying I'm pro-Chinese.
And every major city, they have a Chinatown.
Right. But what I'm learning is there's a undertone with people that whenever Black folks speak and they're speaking pro-Black, then it's taken as being racist. And I just feel that that's crazy. You know?
Well, the deal of it is, that's because of the reason that they feel that. It's because of racism. That's because America hates Black people, period. That's just the real. Okay, America hates Black people. So if you got a society that you're a part of that hates you, how you think they're going to treat you? Yeah. I mean, come on, perfect example. Like we talk about them children. When I started my volunteer career at Dallas Independent School District, it was in West Dallas Projects. They were teaching these children that can't read how to read by what they call word memorization. How are you going to teach somebody how to read through word memorization? They don't know the words. Right. The very best way to teach anybody how to read is through phonetics, phonics. They got to know that. I know it. Yeah. So that means when they removed phonics and brought this other thing, they was trying to hurt them babies, and they did it. Yeah. Yeah. Most children and most adults in this country cannot read, period. Because reading is more than reciting words. That's what I'm talking about.
And so let me make Americans a point to that. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good, go.
You said most people, they can't read.
That's what I said.
And so imagine applying that to math and having to do a word problem. You know, I've been talking to a buddy of mine. No, seriously, I've been talking.
He gonna miss it.
Yeah, so I was talking to a friend of mine last week, and he's a math guru, and so he said what he's learning through tutoring and teaching math to students is The word problems is where most people freeze and they get lost. And I think that just kind of piggybacks on your point.
Right,
Hell,
because I
if you
agree saying,
can't read, then you sure can't read a
do a
math
word
problem.
problem.
Yeah,
Dig it.
yeah,
And they
exactly.
know it. It ain't accidental or coincidental.
No,
This stuff is on purpose. We've been targeted since we've been here. And we're
absolutely.
going to be a target as long as we are here.
Right,
Okay. So, like you said, through unity, then we can utilize our resources for our own well-being and betterment. And
right,
that's actually all we need to do.
right.
And it's nothing else gonna happen. People be like, well, you gotta consider them for what? Ain't nobody considering us.
Yeah,
We ain't
yeah,
gotta consider nobody but us and
right.
deal with this society as necessary. That's what this
Yes,
is.
right.
Like you say, tiny towns all over. It's less than 5 million or 8 million, whatever it was. I saw research before. But I'll go with the high number. It's less than 8 million Chinese in this country.
Come on now.
It's 41 million of us. And they got Chinatowns everywhere. But in our
Everywhere.
black neighborhoods, we got foreigners we buy stuff from.
Yeah,
That ain't the
yeah.
way it's supposed to be, player. I
Nah,
contend this, whatever we got to do to change the culture to where our money stop going to these other people in mass dollars, we got to do what we got to do. Even these black women decide to say, we'll go natural before we keep buying that weed from you Chinese or whoever. You feel me?
yeah,
We got to get serious at some point. I've
yeah,
seen black series before in the 60s and 70s when I was a growing child in Philadelphia with the original Black Panther parties handled their business.
yeah,
You feel me?
yeah.
We need real organizations that's ready to handle some real business. That's what we need.
Absolutely. And I
Oh,
believe,
yeah.
your organization, the Black Men Who Care, has for over 30 years, been in the
Yeah.
community making
Yeah.
a difference. And
Yeah.
so people hear that a lot. It sounds cliche, making a difference. What does that really mean? Well, let me tell you, it means that you saw a need and you brought a solution. And it's kind of like a math problem again. You saw a need, there was a solution that equaled a better person. Look at me, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
When I met you, you were the president and the founder of Black Men Who Care. Just that name alone
Yeah.
is something that people just not used to. And so if we're going to talk unity, if we're going to talk organizations, we need to talk mindset, because
Absolutely.
something in your
Mindset.
mind when you were a young man made you, just kind of go the way toward, well, I'm going to help my people. I don't know a lot of history. I'm going to research. I'm going to do the homework. I'm going to do the deeds and the due diligence necessary to make a difference. So how can you make a difference if your mind isn't in the right place?
You're right. If your mind isn't in the right place, you're not going to be thinking about making a difference.
Mm-mm,
You see,
mm-mm.
that ain't gonna be your mindset if you don't care about people. And
And if you don't have that mindset, you start viewing people that do have that mindset as crazy. I'm sure there were people around Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all those brothers, Nat Turner, Marcus Garvey. I mean, we can go all day.
yeah.
I'm sure, let me bring my point to you. I'm sure there were people around them that didn't have that same belief. They didn't have that same mentality. But because those brothers were so strong and they were attracting like-minded brothers, watch this. This is real. It could have been some guys that didn't have that mindset, but when they saw the power of the movement, they adapted and they adopted the mindset.
Those the bandwagon people,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And we'll
And
take
they
them.
are
Come on.
welcome. And they welcome, no doubt, because it's for all our people. It's just
Right.
like you say, all our people are not in the same mindset. And so us that are in the mindset that's better for us collectively as a people, we need to share that mindset with our brothers and sisters.
Right. Let
That's
me
what we
say
need to
this.
do.
People typically, I'm just saying, I believe this world is kind of a glass half empty type of world. But me, we're kind of a glass half full. So
Mhm.
what does that mean, Eric? That means we don't look at the mountain, and I'm talking about Mount Everest of the negatives, the we can'ts, the Uncle Toms. I mean, the list can go on and on. We look at the hope, the
Mhm.
faith. And let me tell you what gives us that hope and faith is that we realize our people have been unified, believe it or not, for a long time. When we were in slavery, we were unified. We were a people that made our own food. We had our own language. We, did our own thing in spite of.
Right.
Go on through Reconstruction, civil rights, all the way up to George Floyd, man. We've always been a people that were unified. Now, let me say this, on the outside looking in, it doesn't appear that way because the negative parts of our group, the people that really are out here acting a fool, just for lack of better words, those are the ones that get highlighted. But
constantly. That's
but
what they
I
want to
mean,
do.
there is a guy named Robert Smith. He's the most successful African American in U.S. history. Guess what? I just heard about him.
I just heard about him last year.
Ain't that something though? This brother have done a remarkable work in the private equity sector. Nobody in our group knows him, but we all know Jay-Z and we know Oprah and we know Michael Jordan and all these guys.
It's not accidental.
It is not accidental.
Right,
and so what I want to do is, like, today we're talking unity, we're talking mindset, and I believe we have to celebrate the fact that we really are unified, and there's just a few of us. Let's just be real. It's a lot of us that ain't on the same page, but it's a lot of us who are.
Absolutely. And I contend there's a lot of us that's not on the same page that would get on that page if they had the information and knowledge that he's talking about.
Just like Pastor Spears. That brother didn't mean no harm in West. I mean, the man is in West Dallas of all places. Shout out to the West.
That was the culture.
Yeah, he just didn't know. But here's a brother with the mindset, with the mentality, with the passion. You shared some information with him. He came on board.
He did.
And so I want to let everybody know that during COVID, when those sisters had to do their own nails, it made them think about the Asians that they throwing their money to. When them sisters start growing them naturals and them dreadlocks.
That's what I'm talking about. We coming.
Beautiful. Hold on. Beautiful. Hair is more healthy. Getting longer. Your little hair ain't never grew.
Right.
Yeah, with all that stuff on there. But my point is, and I'm just really, being funny. But my point is, during a time where the world was collapsing around us, Black people showed unity. Well, how, Eric? Well, we started opening businesses. We started opening nonprofits. We started doing our own hair and learning how to, get off the phone sometimes with our kids and just pour into them. So we have the DNA. Don't get it twisted.
No doubt.
Yeah, we have the DNA, and we've been a very powerful force. I mean, ever since our inception into this country. I have to tell my contractors sometimes who are Hispanic, who you think built this? Y'all didn't build it. Hell, we built this thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And so a lot of times,
blood, sweat, and tears.
People get it twisted because of the media and how things are being portrayed. But I thank God for you.
Check this out, Biggie. Like you said, the media, but guess what they do too? Because, I've been in different educational institutions, and, in those places, always some foreigners, okay? Way back when I was at Thaddeus Stevens State School of Technology in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I think these were Vietnamese, and they was telling me that when they come here, they talk about Black people. They say, do not mingle with them. Don't interact with those Black people. That's what they tell the foreigners when they come here through their orientation. They talk about us being the worst thing in America as a people. That's what they do. So the thing I like pointing out about that is that some of us, we get so caught up in being so nice to others, let's say, that we're like, but that may offend them. Come on now, nobody cares about us as existing and benefiting and prospering. So why are we worried about somebody else's feelings to tell our truth? That's ignorant is what I think. That's ignorant. That's exactly what it is. That's ignorant.
Just really don't know. And so
that's all ignorance means.
Sometimes we have to educate, and we have
that's what we're supposed to do.
Shout out to the brother Wallow out of Philadelphia, where you from. That brother wake up every day just to drop a nugget on the people. Just to drop.
You know what part he come from?
Huh?
Do you know what part he's from? What part of Philly?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know he's
I'm feeling like it's north or west for some reason. I'm feeling like it's one of them too. Yeah. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say north. Yeah, Philly is a tough town, but for me, it was a town that let me see the proper adults because I've always seen adults fighting injustices inflicted upon black people. I saw that my whole childhood growing up before I come to Texas at 20. So Philadelphia showed me black men and women to plant the seed of loving your black self. And then here in Dallas, Texas, that's where I experienced a lot of information through reading a lot of books.
Yeah.
And seeing presentations by others that write books or whatever they do in the community to make a difference. And my body and mind and soul been absorbing all this for a minute. And now I'm retired. This is my world right here. My passion is my people, and I love them children. And that's what I live for. That's my life.
Yeah. Well, and then that's why I wanted to help you get set up, with the podcast, because
you did that too.
The black man been having DVDs and damn near VCR
I used to
tapes,
try to get you to do the DVD. Another buddy of mine, Harvey Johnson, he used to say, man, that old antiquated stuff.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And so, God just put in my spirit that I need to digitize the black man. I need to bring you up to 2025,
Yeah, now I'm in the mix.
And so check this out. The main reason why is because if you have a DVD, you hand it to a brother, that's one person. Man, every time you click this go live button on your setup,
yeah,
it's to the world, man. It's to the world, and you never know the impact that you will have. And so I believe that's unity that you want for your brother, what you want for yourself,
Absolutely.
And I've always wanted you to just get the message out more. You was like, hey, Big E, did you watch them DVDs? I'm like, man, I don't even have a DVD player. And so, but ever since you've been broadcasting, I've just been kind of watching, and you've been organically getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you just never know who you're reaching.
You don't. And if you can reach somebody in a positive, motivating manner, that'd be great, because then maybe they can reach some more people. You see?
For sure.
And that's pretty much the way I think it's going to happen. As we do our works, ultimately it's going to be the snowball effect.
For sure.
You see? And then when it snowballs, that's when the masses going to come on the bandwagon, people. But like I like to keep saying, y'all are welcome. Come on.
Very, very much welcome.
Absolutely. Because we want all our people to do well. If black people utilize our resources for our own well-being and betterment, we'd be all right.
Yeah.
We'd be all right.
Yeah. Our culture is the culture. Let's be clear. People copy us all the time. And
Absolutely.
So it's a reason why they look at us as the stellar athletes. But I want to let everybody know that we have some stellar scholars.
Absolutely.
As well, that we got some Michael Jordans that are doctors, we got some Oprah Winfrey's that are, philanthropists, like the brother Robert Smith, private equity, investment banking, all that kind of stuff. People don't want to let it be known, but brothers like
about
us,
6 billion, 8 billion rich, ain't he? That brother Smith, about 6, 8 billion, ain't it? Something like that.
that brother got some heavy money. My thing is, why hadn't we ever heard of him?
Because if the masses of our people hear about the massiveness of our greatness, they might get motivated. That's why you don't hear it. They don't want us motivated and then handle our business. Because once we handle our business, their business is going to have to change. When I say their, I'm talking about everybody's. Yeah. Because then you can't abuse us anymore. You see what I'm saying?
No.
So when we get ourselves together, everybody going to have to get their self together. Because you ain't just using us no more. Yeah.
Right. I remember you said you had read a lot of books. I want to drop a couple books, man. Just some suggestions for the listeners. For the viewers. Dr. Claude Anderson, man, Powernomics.
Right.
That's a strong book, that actually the brother presents a plan. People always say, well, what do we do? Well, what do we do? What do we do? This is
but what happened to the plan? That book is relatively old.
Right. Well, what happened is it hadn't been implemented.
Okay, so who's supposed to implement it? It's his book.
Well, he's implemented it as far as he can take it. You know how they say you can take them to the water, but you can't make them drink. There's a plethora of information. The reason why I'm bringing it to your live is so people can at least read it.
Absolutely, but I just want to speak to history.
I'm sorry.
I haven't even read it. I just know about it.
You need to read it, brother, because it's a comprehensive plan that I believe there's some areas that need to be tweaked. I don't know how old Dr. Anderson is, but he's
How about how old is the book?
This book, I'm gonna tell you. It was first published in 2001.
Okay.
So it's been around over 20 years. But how long have the Bible been around? You know, how long have the message to the black man been around?
But guess what, though?
Yeah.
The Bible, I'll speak to that instead of message to the black man. The Bible been around, but look at all the people it's impacting, even in a negative way.
Right. So my job is to just let folk know. You know how they say,
Right,
don't shoot the messenger. This is another book I want to recommend.
Yeah, that's a good book.
The Color of Law.
Okay, never heard of that one.
Yeah, the Color of Law. This book speaks to how things have been government or segregated on purpose by the government. So Powernomics, Dr. Claude Anderson, The Color of Law, Richard Rothstein. This is actually a white guy wrote this book, but I mean, this is a book that needs to be read because we have to realize that it's being done by design.
Absolutely. And I know of an older book that's wrote by a white guy too from the 70s called Your Erroneous Zone.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, Your Erroneous Zone. And it might be linked to that subliminal seduction situation.
I
read that book too, Subliminal Seduction. And it talks about how they use these things in advertisement affecting your mental without you even realizing it.
Yeah, you know, I spoke on that before, and I believe in it. You know, that's why I say it's by design, because
absolutely
black folk, you know, let me say this right quick. My dad, he gave me a truck. It was 1991. And so he had it for 20 some years, and now I done had it for 10 years. Truck is over 30 years old. And so my daddy, he's so meticulous, he left the paperwork in the glove box. And so I looked at the paperwork, and his interest rate at that time was 11% with excellent credit. So why did you say that, Eric? Well, I'm just saying that we've been victims of predatory lending. You know, we've been victims of being railroaded, not only in the judicial system, but just in the housing world. Higher rates, applications getting rejected. Wells Fargo, they've been on the hot seat recently for discrimination against us. Channel 8 News here in Dallas, they've been, you know, running a series called Banking Below I-30. And it's still happening to this day, you know, where we're getting higher interest rates for our homes. We're getting denied. Our appraisals for our homes are coming back lower than they would if you were, you know,
if you were not a black brother,
if you were, you know, not black. And so when we're talking about unity, back to the point, you've never read this book. I hadn't either, but I saw this brother on Breakfast Club one day, older brother, and that brother
I know who he is. Yeah, he's an interesting fellow for sure.
Not only did I get it,
right,
I read it, and now I'm recommending it.
Okay, so do you see a way that we can actually implement that into this unification thing?
Absolutely. Just on having a plan. First of all, most people, they have a lot of marches, a lot of movements, you know, like when George Floyd died. I mean, that was like, they done put that in the history books like the civil rights era, because it was just political unrest, social unrest.
And it was worldwide as well.
Yeah, I mean, so you had groups starting, you know, like corporate groups opening up diversity, equity, and inclusion departments, just so they can, you know, we stand with black folks here, or we stand with, you know, black folks there. And so I feel like just to have a plan, just for a brother to actually write something down to say, this is my plan. Can it be used? Yeah. Does it need some fine tuning? I believe so, because the brother is a little older, and a lot of his approaches aren't current, if you will. But the meat and potatoes of the book is just doing what we all know we need to be doing, which is what I talk about a lot, black dollars, you know, buying. You, just like you, brother, you always support black owned and keeping those dollars cycling or circulating in our hoods, you know, in our neighborhoods before they leave.
Right, much as we can.
Much as we can. Educating ourselves in certain areas. For instance, where is agriculture gone in the Black community? You know,
That's a great question.
black folk don't know how to raise chickens and cows, and you know,
In general, you're
yeah,
right. But
I
guess
just
what?
left the store this morning, man. Eggs, man, 18 eggs was $7.32. Now, chickens
Oh
lay
my
eggs all the
goodness.
time, but
Oh yeah.
we've lost some of our education and our knowledge in things that we been doing for years.
Absolutely, we had to.
Yeah, but they've been, you know,
But
kind of
I'm glad you
taken
brought
away.
that up about that agriculture because I got a friend that retired from the Postal Service and he's got 315 acres
Mm,
out
strong.
there past Seagoville. And I'm gonna put a trip together for youngsters to see because he wants them to come and show them all kinds of things. Matter of fact, he was on my podcast 4 months ago, so you can see who it is. And
Okay.
he's a farmer and black cowboy. That's him. And yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna put a small trip together here real soon, just for a
Okay.
friend or two. And then ultimately, you need to take them children out there, so like what you're saying, they can see that
Yeah.
yes, we need to be able to grow our own food. And you're talking about the vegetables, the meat, and the sides. You see?
Right. Right.
So yeah. So I'm gonna put a trip together to that farm, about an hour and a half away. That ain't even
Okay. Yeah.
far.
Make
We
sure you
get
let me
there.
know. Yeah. Make sure you
Oh,
let me
no
know.
doubt, no doubt. Yeah. We can go ahead and coordinate because that's what's up. So,
Yeah. And
and
so
this
let
is
me
the
go
thing.
back.
But
Let me just
go
go
ahead.
back real
Go ahead.
quick. So first of all, just having a plan. You
Right.
know, I had never seen anybody say, this is the issues in the African American community. Here's the solution that's written down. Not
Mm-hmm.
somebody talking, somebody marching, somebody on the bullhorn, you know, nothing against that. But I'm saying
Right, because they
black
all had
and
their
white,
place.
yeah, black and white, this is a plan that we can follow. So I believe that's a start. We can take Dr. Anderson's plan and use it as a whole, but there might be some details that we change that fits our community where we live a little bit better. And I think that's okay. You know, it should be a living document that can be edited, that can be, hey, brother, that didn't work. Let's try this. Or, hey, sister, that didn't work. Let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that can actually help us.
Well, in that case, you making me know I need to get that book and check it out because I know this. Whatever it has in it, it may be in need of some fine tuning based on the geographics we're located in. Like, for
Exactly.
instance, teaching children in West and South Dallas might be a little different than teaching them in North and West Philadelphia. You
Okay.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's a different city. You've been there. You know Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare Philly to Dallas on a scale of 1 to 10, Philly by the 3, Dallas by the 9.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
heard me? And
Yeah.
I'm glad you've seen Philly, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I've actually seen it, but
Yeah.
watch this. Ironically, I was just telling my wife the other night, I said, babe, you know, Philly have always been the epicenter of some soul, you know, like the Roots and Jill Scott and music, you know, even the brothers with the beards. And as I was
Yeah.
up there, you know, they
Right.
had togetherness. We're talking about unity. It may not be totality of what we want unity to look like, but it's something. And it's
Right, but
big, you know, to me.
totality make me think you're talking about 100%. That's not impossible. So we're trying to
For
get those
nothing.
who are willing
Yeah.
and wanting to, and most of us do want to
Right.
and willing. It's just
Right.
that I think too many of us pretty much have given up hope and feel like it hasn't happened, it's not going to happen. We just screwed. But I don't believe that.
Me either.
We got to do our thing, and when we do our work, we'll have fruition. And then I keep going back to the masses. When they see it happening and going on, y'all come on and build this thing bigger and better.
Yeah.
And they will.
Yeah.
Because we want to do a lot of giving and helping. And I contend if you're helping and giving people what they need, and it's free too,
Yeah.
you're going to have some bandwagon people. But we want them. We want them. Come on, brothers and sisters, get this help and love. We got to teach our people about this self-love thing to combat that self-hate. This is what I believe, Big E. I think goodness can beat ugliness any day, but it can't if it done contested. You feel me? perfect example, like black people that use the N-word. I noticed this. There's a lot of blacks that don't, but there's a lot of blacks that do. But I know the ones that do use it, they'll stand up for that usage. But those who don't use it, they don't get in the fight. Because I understand this. A lot of people don't want no fights. They just want to enjoy the fruits of their labor, enjoy life, that type of thing.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. To each their thing. That's just not me. I know somebody got to fight.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the fighters.
Yeah.
I've seen fighters, and that's why I'm this way. I've seen the original Black Panther Party stand up against the Philadelphia Police Department. You see, firsthand. And this guy Rizzo was the commissioner. And when, you know, if you're in your facility fighting the cops, right, you're gonna run out of bullets at some point.
Yeah.
And they did. And when that happened, this guy Rizzo, he was police commissioner at the time, became mayor, ultimately, Italian dude, like what you talking about. He made the brothers strip butt naked and have on the front page of the newspaper with their hands on the wall, butt naked.
What?
Yes. 1975, I believe it was. Yeah, so, and I've been in that house, and my parents were really strict, but you know, as a youngster, you're going to do stuff you ain't supposed to do sometimes. I've been in that Black Panther headquarters. It was just a 3-story house. But on different floors, they had things. They had a lot of books and all that, and they welcomed you in. But I could feel the tension in there, probably just from my knowledge of knowing the possibilities, right?
Yeah.
That if the cops come while I'm in here and something go down, I'm going to be in trouble with my parents for sure. and see, that's why this parental thing of, what do they call it, corporal punishment? Where they talk about if though that teaches violence. No, first of all, it didn't start with the spanking. They had to earn that spanking, just like they earn nice toys or whatever else. It's a merit system. It's by what you earn. Some children don't need a butt whooping. Some do. You see? Right. So we're not talking about you hitting them with all your might and you trying to break their bones. You're just trying to show them, look, I'm not playing with you. That's the way it worked. Right. I got a bunch of whoopings. A whole bunch of them. And I turned out all right, you know what I'm saying? That ain't violence if you use it in the proper manner. Like I say, you didn't first touch him, you talked to him. Right. And if you have a child that will never do what you say do, what are you supposed to do? You got to step it up some kind of way. So I contend that's another effort for them to help us hurt ourselves. And sadly, I'm still so amazed at how so many Black people listen to the advice of this society. I don't get that. Yeah. They done showed us they don't love us. What you got to see? You know what I'm saying? The syphilis experiment on our brothers in Tuskegee. And the CDC was involved in that. Bill Clinton apologized while he was in office, but they did it. If they did it once, that wasn't their first time. And if they did it once, they'll do it again. Yeah.
You know it's just like Planned Parenthood, eugenics, population control. All like that stuff is real. You know, people don't like to admit it, but that's why during the month of, during our celebration of Kwanzaa, you know, a couple of weeks back, that's a time that I can teach my children, you know, teach my circle. And so, like you said earlier, some people want to, you know, get off work, chill, stay in their own little bubble.
Yeah, they don't want to contribute.
Yeah, that's okay if you take time to influence your immediate circle, your immediate family. Yeah, you don't have to be out on the front line marching like you've been doing for the last 30-something years. But take care of your home. Tell your kids to respect the elders and, you know, not be a disruption. Because, I mean, talking about the kids and what they're going through, that's a whole nother live. But I just believe that some people look at this mountain we have as Black folk and it's discouraging. And I understand that. But here's one thing I haven't lost is hope. I haven't seen the Black Panthers like you, but I can only imagine that's what keeps your faith going.
That and other things too. The Nation of Islam even. The Nation of Islam worked together with a group called Muslims Against Gang War in 1974. And it stopped in 75. Wallace D. Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad's son, had Philadelphia. You know how the nation operates. They'll put a minister over a city. Wallace D. Muhammad had Philly, and they handled that big problem. That was a mountain of a problem. In the year 1972, when Vietnam was still going on, in Philadelphia, there was more youth killed per capita than the Vietnam War in 1972. I was 12. My buddy that was 13 or 14, he got caught up in the situation, stabbed him 5 times, but he survived, fortunately. When the fella would look like Rerun on this one TV show, we saw him, he looked like JJ. He lost that much weight through that stabbing situation. The stabs look really small, but then the doctor cut it from the top to the bottom. It's like, wow. And we were teenagers, and this was the lifestyle going on in Philadelphia in the 60s and 70s before that gang war stopped, and it stopped in 1975. And the Nation of Islam had a lot to do with that stopping with Mothers Against Gang
So
War.
was the gang black on black?
Absolutely, sadly.
So let's fast forward to Chicago. 2022. Go look at their murder numbers.
I'm saying that's what the gang is. I have known of gangs fighting other colors. They usually be black on black. The only gangs I saw, blacks fighting blacks. I ain't seen all the gangs like that. So but we gotta talk about some things, be about some things, and that's why my target primarily is the children. You see. Because sadly, a lot of children are not getting the proper information that they need. And sadly, too, a lot of the adults around them probably don't have their proper information and knowledge to share and pass down. That's why guys like me and you got to do as much as we can and when we can. Because like you say, we don't know who hears and how they take it and how it might help somebody. Because it's all about helping somebody. That's what it's all about.
For sure.
And like you mentioned about the color thing, this thing, black people are my focus and target to help. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of Caucasians do a lot of good things, but that's just not my job. But just for a rare moment, I'll mention some things about them folks. I know that the Underground Railroad had plenty of white help. They had to have it. You see, when they talked about if this light is on, you can knock. If it ain't, don't knock. They were white folks' house, which means they were putting their life on the line. If they'd been caught helping one of them slaves hide away, they would have killed them too. You see what I'm saying? So it's always been some good Caucasians too, or call them reasonable. Like perfect example in my life here in Dallas, Texas. When I came to Dallas, I was living in North Dallas, which was not the hood then. It's the hood now. Abrams and Royal Lane is the hood now. In 1980, if you saw a black person a block away, you tried to wave at them. That's what it was in 1980. But see, man, I'm telling you.
You said Abrams and Roy. That's the hood now.
It wasn't in 1980.
No.
In 1980, Abrams and Roy, if you saw another black, like I said, a block away, I'm trying to wave. Because you didn't see many of us. Wasn't many blacks. You know what I'm saying? But now that stuff is straight ghetto. It ain't accidental. And you notice the gentrification thing going on, right? They're moving back in. You see West Dallas? Say, man, small as West Dallas is, they got all these gentrification houses. You can tell what's happening. But I want to go back to Reverend Spears when you was talking about it one time. It got past me. I talked to Reverend Spears one time. We was talking. As small as West Dallas is, he said there's 75 Baptist churches in West Dallas. 75 in that small space. Now, he said this. He said, now, every time we try to get something done, the reason we can't get nothing done, he said, because everybody's always wondering, well, who name going to be on it? Now, you talking about these are men of God. Y'all got a problem with who name going to be on it. Y'all not sincere. Because the solution for something like that is so simple. If I was in the midst, I'd say, put everybody's name that's interested in being that on a little piece of paper. Put it in that little bag of back, go get that 2-year-old to pick one of them names. That's what it's going to be. I mean, y'all grown so-called leadership, and y'all can't get along with y'all. Come on, man.
75 churches.
In West Dallas. As small as West Dallas is, right? It shouldn't be but 2. But
that's a whole nother live too, man.
You ain't lying. We got so many. It's just like I talked to a good friend of mine, Norman Dukes. We was talking. We went at it good too. But it came out of my mind and mouth that our problems are splintered. So therefore our solutions are splintered as well.
Come on,
ain't no one answer. Ain't no one solution. You feel me?
Deep. Ain't no one plan. This brother's plan.
I'm gonna get that book because I know some stuff in it I can apply to what I already do.
You're gonna love the book.
Yeah,
because finally you have at least somebody that says, this is my observation, this is what I think. Let me just tell you a few things from the book real quick.
Okay.
One thing that he discusses and that we all have heard, and sometimes we discuss it, is closing the wealth gap, or just understanding what the wealth gap really is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just for round numbers, let's say if the average Black median household income was $15,000, you know, the average white family's income would be 80,000. And so those disparities seem overwhelming. But the brother Claude Anderson takes it even further back to say people have gotten free labor from us, built these multi-billion-dollar corporations on our backs.
Absolutely.
And established generational wealth. So if it's generational wealth their way, then it's a generational wealth gap our way. And so just acknowledging the disparities, just acknowledging predatory lending, like I told you earlier, banking below I-30. I done been turned down, you know, building houses. I done been lied to by some bankers, and I was qualified, but the board says this. So, you know, kind of let me know that people, they hear wealth gap, they hear we need reparations, but they don't understand the magnitude of it. You know, I think California, they have a task force now that's, you know, supposedly going after reparations for all Black folk. But man, in Texas, I ain't never heard that word in anything dealing with, you know, our government reparations. But I can remember growing up, my grandparents had a lot of land, but they lost it because
Where was the land at?
Fairfield, Texas, up in Forest City, Arkansas. My mom's people, they had a lot of land. And so it was kind of like when I was a little kid, Black folk, back to that agriculture thing, they had a lot of land. Well, in today's society, land is so valuable, but we've been robbed of our land. We've been robbed of our resources. And that's one thing I liked about the
You want to talk about Rob? Come on now.
I like that
book. 27 Black massacres.
Yeah. Shout out to that brother, man.
Yes,
that was a deep. I actually gave my dad a copy of Black Massacres.
Oh yeah, that's what's up, because you're pop from an earlier era than me, even.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so
yeah.
One thing I want to say, you know, before we close up, is that we got to get the mindset. We got to actually give a damn. We can't say, well, that doesn't affect me, so I really can't. Okay, it doesn't affect you. You don't want to be with the masses. Do your job at home. You know, do your job with your children so they can be educated, because the greatest tragedy you could have is being Black, being knowledgeable, being you know, just down with your folk, and you didn't pass that to your kids, then you did them a, you know, huge disservice.
And justice too. But I would suspect if a person was in the mix themselves, they're gonna have their babies in the mix.
Yeah.
But most people, sadly, just not in the mix themselves.
I mean, you would be surprised how, even me, man, I'm gonna be totally honest. My wife, she never heard of Willie Lynch until I told her. She never heard of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad until I told her. You know, the stories of Mumia Abu Jamal. She didn't know, and so I taught her. And then guess what? Turn around, start teaching my kids. Sometimes we get away from it ourselves, because growing up, man, my mom and dad, they taught me a lot about our culture and our history. We was going to family reunions. I can't remember the last time I've been to a family reunion. You know, ever since grandma died, it seemed like that glue kind of, you know.
Yeah. Those were the ones that make it short.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not the case for all families. I'm just saying
not at
how,
all.
even in my life, I had to check myself to say, okay, I got to make my kids learn this stuff. I don't care if you want to know it or not. I'm going to teach you.
Because it's important.
Yeah, and so guess what? to my not even disbelief, but just to be shocked. Hell, they loved it, and they
That's
wanted to
great.
talk about it all the time, and so they
That's
started
right.
having their
That's
own
right.
viewpoints and opinions.
Oh
You know,
yeah, that's
and
what it's about.
yeah, as you keep living life, one more plug, man. As you keep living life,
That's
it's a
your
book I
book.
wrote.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
available on Amazon called The Switch Within. As you keep living, you
right.
learn and you grow. And so some of our brothers and sisters, they just haven't grown yet, but we're going to keep preaching and fighting. And I think we can make some changes.
Yeah, and we just got to keep planting the seeds that we plant. And every seed you plant don't grow, but keep planting. Plant it again. Maybe grow the next
Come on
time.
now. Some going to pop up.
I believe this. When people know you love them, that's going to have a positive impact. I just believe it. I
For
don't know how
sure.
true it is, but I believe that. And I'm going to show love every chance I get. But like I say, those children, that's the primary target for me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they are the future, no doubt. But the thing of it is, unless we get them correct on the mindset, they're going to repeat the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, man. History
So we've
definitely
got
repeats itself.
so we've got to get with the babies and plant the seeds that we even want to plant with their dogs. And
Right.
like what you say, them
Right.
children loved it.
Yeah.
Children, because you go and love something that's letting you know you are from greatness. How could you not?
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
But that's not what this education system does for us. I know a lady from Chicago. She was in Dallas. I don't think she's here no more. Probably went back to Chicago. This lady had a master's degree in education and never heard of Nat Turner. Never heard of Nat Turner with a master's degree. I was totally shocked. But I can kind of imagine what the situation was because this lady grew up in a family that was Seventh-day Adventist from top to bottom, schooling and everything. And you know, one thing that I do know about Seventh-day Adventists, they're real good at as far as their diets. They believe in eating healthy, that type of thing.
Okay.
See, and so I think that's why she didn't know about Nat Turner with a master's degree, which you already know the education system that we pay for ain't trying to do nothing for us. But I'm thinking at the house and stuff like that, with that Seventh-day Adventist being so prevalent, they weren't talking about pro-black stuff. But then she went to college. You got a master's. That's probably what 6 years. And this lady was even having $150,000 debt to the government for that master's degree. And what this lady did and does, I suspect. Okay, this is where I understand it works. When you have a big student loan debt, as long as you enroll into a class, you can pay it later. I forget the word they use.
Deferred,
but you don't have
forbearance,
defer. Yeah, as long as you got an active class, you ain't got to start paying it. Yeah. And this lady stay in the class, so she don't have to start paying that 150 grand. That's amazing, man. I'm glad I didn't get student loans. I was supposed to have one in Dallas when I got here, American Trades Institute, but when I got here, they say they were all gone. So I had to pay for it myself, but it worked out.
Yeah.
Now I'm retired, don't have to work no more, so it worked out. And I love Dallas. I do. I love North Philly, but I love all of Dallas, no doubt. This is my time.
Yeah, man. I just want to thank you again, man. You have been who you say you are, and it didn't start right now, man. It's ever since I was 15 years old. You know.
You remember you was a master beatboxer, remember?
Yeah, that's what they told me, man. I love music.
That's why I asked you to come to the studio, remember? I said, come beatbox.
But let me just say this, man, to the people that don't know. Like, I thought in my heart, I want to get this brother an award because from a teenager into adolescence, you know, I don't know if that's before or after, but let's say young adulthood on into adulthood, man, you just kept showing up. And you was always bearing gifts, and you was always giving knowledge. And so, you know how you know people for something? You might say, hey, that's Big John. He the mechanic, you know.
That's donut man. He keep them donuts, whatever it is.
Keisha, you know, she's the beautician. So it's like, you know, we call you Lenny, you know, hey, Lenny, that's a pro-black guy. And so that's something that even my dad would come home and he would say, boy, Lenny, he be wearing some T-shirts that kind of get him ruffled up around the post office. And so I started liking that type of behavior in you because it was kind of rare and it was kind of bold, but it was needed. You know, it was needed, and it sparked researching me. I wanted to learn about myself, and I wanted to learn about my people. And so I just want to thank you for that, man. And you have definitely been a blessing to me, and I definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Go. I ain't kidding. It's been a journey, along with you. Because, I know you don't like to give yourself accolades and all that, but when you was in that music game, you remember I used to tell you, that's when your beard was black.
I'm going to tell my age in a minute.
And I used to say, you remember, I say, Big E, because you had that black beard. I say, you look like Suge Knight, you rap like Tupac, and plus you can sing. You know what I'm saying?
Triple threat.
You remember that. And you did several shows all around the city and all that, man. So I like that life. And it was Crush Groove, I think the name of the movie I saw that got me interested in trying to rap.
Yeah.
And then, I had that drug problems, and you made the beat for me, which I want to revive that and bring it back with a different beat. And we'll see what it do, because check this out. I know you don't do the rap thing no more. You don't even want to, but I'm noticing these young people, this is what they into. And so if you at least want them to hear you, put in the rap, they're going to hear you if nothing else. And then you put some lyrics in there that touch them in a way that get their mind curious. Then maybe they could do some research. That's just like this dude in Fort Worth. I think his name OG Person. I tried my best to get going with this dude because I wanted to give him some loves to drop that I suspect he probably don't know about, but I noticed this. It's some people, young people love listening to that guy. Yeah. So I was like, if I can get him to drop some lugs, then that might get them to research. It's this one deal, I got it even in my sunbox right in my car. I don't remember verbatim, but it's something I had for homie, real short and small. I was saying something about men. And I think the acronym I come up with people, and I think the M I came up with Marcus Garvey, the E was Elijah Muhammad, and the N was Nat Turner. And I was like, perhaps, homie, say these names, maybe these youngsters, because as you know, they call them phones, but they're computers, right? Yeah. And all you got to do is research. And I had a feeling when they heard them names they never heard before from this brother, they would maybe Google and see, who is Elijah Muhammad?
Who are these brothers? Yeah.
You feel me?
Sure. Yeah.
But the guy never would respond, so I tried as long as I could. I'm only trying so long. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even look at his stuff no more. You the one that introduced me to Charleston White to check him out, because I ain't know nothing about this podcast stuff. You introduced me to it and got me into it, and I'm loving it, no doubt. Yeah. And you turned me on to so much stuff. And I appreciate you too, bro.
Well, let me say this. You gave so much that God put it in my heart to give back to you, just so you can see how it feels. Sometimes we are doing our purpose work, we're doing our passion work, making a difference work, but we never get a thank you. We never get an award. We never know what our impact was. But man, when I tell you that I appreciate you, I mean that, because I didn't have a lot of mentors growing up, but I could remember that every time I saw you, you was giving me something. I mean, and I was like, man, this man, he always blessed me. So this is how the listeners, that are, younger, that's how y'all need to do with some of your mentors, some of your elders. Go back and thank them. Go back and buy them a $100 award, show them that you appreciate them, because that's what we need. It's kind of like fuel, black man. I would hope that by me thanking you or being appreciative of your mentorship in my life, even though God has blessed me to be successful, it'll keep you going. Just to hear me say, hey, man, thank you.
It's motivating, for sure.
I can remember going into them schools with you, man. I was in my early 20s, you giving away $2 bills, silver dollars.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Lenny understands that these kids, you got to get their attention, first of all. And what better way to get somebody attention than through a dollar bill, especially $2 bill. Everybody, attentive is the right word.
Right. Absolutely.
So, so we all have to use our little finesse and our little creative ways that we get our message across. But guess what? I was a teenager. I done been watching you all these years. Even when I made some bad decisions in
Right,
life,
right,
you were
right.
still there. Present a brother with them African chains. I'm talking real gold chains,
Yeah,
not no
yeah.
fake stuff.
I
You
remember that
know,
time when you had did a little bit, I guess they call it, and when you got
yeah,
out, it just happened to be Kwanzaa Fest, and we went
yeah,
there with John Wilder, and I
yeah.
had that African necklace and a couple of dollars for you. But that's what we supposed to do, go. We supposed to do that.
But it's rare. And so why you say it's rare? Well, I hadn't seen too many people like that actually really genuinely care. You know what I'm saying?
You
So
saying the rare go? You know what's interesting? I got a friend
yeah.
that she said she's never seen a person actually work through the work system and actually get to retire. And I'm so amazed.
Wow.
Even my friend who wrote the book, he act like that's such a great thing that I did to work 40 years and retire. He say that's bigger than doing 17 years in the pen. That's what he said, but I don't think so.
Well, I don't know about that, but I think it just speaks volume to your character as far as consistency, longevity. Just remember many a day I'd be like, hey Lenny, you go in at 2:30, let me meet you at 1:30 so I can hook up with you and
Right,
get some
right,
DVDs or whatever. But
right, right.
that speaks volume to your character, brother. And so for somebody to say I've never seen anyone retire, I would ask her to get out a little bit more, but man, that just shows who you are as a person. Hold on. And so that needs to be celebrated. My wife and I got together. We said, you know what? You got to give folk their flowers while they living. Let's get Lenny a trophy for his work.
That
All
big,
the
excellent
years,
one too.
this man, not only did you bless me, hell, I got married, you start blessing my wife, giving her things. I had kids, you start blessing them. Now I got grandkids, you blessing them. So it's just in you. And I just
Oh yeah.
believe that I'm sure Martin Luther King, man, that's kind of like one of our greatest leaders of all time.
One of
Would
mine
have
for sure.
loved somebody to pull him over and just say, thank you.
Oh
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you, Dr. King,
yeah.
man. You really are. And I'm sure it was some brothers doing it, but
And I'm glad you mentioned Martin Luther
yeah.
King, because some people tend to think that Martin can't touch Malcolm on the strength part, but that ain't true.
That ain't true at
Both of
all.
those brothers did outstanding work. And don't
No.
get me wrong, I don't take nothing from Malcolm. But
Mm-mm.
Malcolm was among black people talking noise. Martin was in the white folks' neighborhood walking, talking noise. That was much
Yeah.
more dangerous. Much
And I
more
believe
dangerous.
they had a lot of the same belief systems. People always
Absolutely.
want to pitch us, that Willie Lynch, us, the Martin against Malcolm, and
Right, right,
Biggie
right.
against Pac. And man, forget all that.
Yeah.
Those brothers had some of the common objectives that was needed during that time. Now, they might have had different plans. Dr.
They
Claude
did.
Anderson may say, you need to cycle your dollars 7 times before it leaves the neighborhood. I might say 5. And I might have the math to back it up, but it's okay. As long as we get to the same destination,
With the same
sometimes the
intention.
method don't matter.
Yeah, as long as you get there. I hear what you're saying. And
Absolutely.
we just have to keep showing our people love. The children are a priority in my mind. And then some of these adults need some of the same education that the children need.
Yeah.
What did I say? I say most Americans can't read. That's the adults and the children. But
Yeah.
guess what? Like I mentioned about this tool. Okay, you can go to dictionaries on the apps. And what's so cool, this one right here, I thought it was this. Not only you can see the word, how it's spelled and all that, you can touch it, it'll pronounce it for you.
Yeah.
So if you can't read, you can teach yourself to read with this tool. You feel me?
Yeah.
You got Frederick Douglass, who was the son of a slave. It was a white man and a slave. Okay, he's a slave. He taught himself how to read without anything.
Yeah.
So that amazes me. I don't know how a person could do that, but they've done it. Teach themselves how to read without any instruction, and that's big. I've been the kind of guy growing up that, like, I've seen little fella, this one man, boy, this brother could do everything. But his son could do like the little model cars. You ever seen it? The glue?
Yeah.
I can't do nothing like that. I can't do that. That's not me. Train me and I can learn. I don't have the ingenuity to take that little radio and do it myself just from watching it. I've never had that. But put me in a classroom, I can learn everything. I'm good at learning. I'm just not good at initiating things on things I don't know about. Some people could take something they've never seen and figure it out. That's never been me. But train me, and I'm good.
Yeah. You know, we all have our talents, man.
Right, and our pet peeves and everything else.
It's kind of like that picture behind you. You know, it takes a special brother to hold down the bullhorn. You know, so
you say you right.
Everybody ain't got it. You know, you know how to fire it up, but the crowd is gonna follow you. You know.
But what's so cool about it, man? That's one of them examples of if you're not given the opportunity, you never know you had the ability.
Yeah.
One of them deals. I ain't know nothing about that stuff. I remember when I first got on the bullhorn at Channel 8, it was a megaphone thing. It wasn't mechanical.
Yeah.
And I was on that thing, man, I was like 3 hours. The next day, my voice was gone. I didn't know about your voice leaving. That scared me.
Yeah.
I was scared. I'm like, what if it don't come back? But it came back.
Yeah.
Luckily. But yeah, if I would have never been given an opportunity, I'd never known I could do that. Man, I'm telling you, Biggie, I was good at that.
Oh no!
It was this one cop. This guy. This was at Northwest Highway Police Department station.
Yeah.
This one cop. He said, "I done seen a lot of these things. But I ain't never seen nobody do it like you."
Yeah.
He right, because the people be rocking. The only thing I hated, or not hated, the only thing I found out what I couldn't do on that bullhorn, I couldn't chant and dance at the same time. I could do that, and then I would try to lower the volume to reserve my energy. Couldn't. I got to either give it all I got or nothing. It don't work unless you give it all you got. So that was
it don't hit the same when you try to lay back.
You got to give it what you got, or it don't work. And if I never been given that opportunity, I would have never known, because that on the billboard you see behind me, that was in Jenna, Louisiana.
Come on now, Jenna 6. Yeah.
You feel me? That's what that was. And what was so great, our national union, APWU, at the Postal Service provided a bus for us to go there from Dallas. Some people from Chicago too.
Wow.
And it was a brother named Michael Basin, I think his name was, that got that started. And we went for one little boy because 5 of them had got let go. But Michael Bell was still locked up. We came from all over the nation for one brother. And that's great.
And you know what's crazy? The brother Chris Keefe was there with you.
Homie, he the one when I got off the bus.
That's crazy. Shout out Chris Keefe, man.
Guess what homie said? And I ain't never seen this man before. I didn't even know he was from Dallas until I saw him on the Phil Donahue show with Dwayne Caraway. I didn't know he was from Dallas. But the brother said, me and the lady just got off the bus named Gussie, and I had seen her for years. I don't even know where she at.
Yeah.
And he said, is there anybody that does the bullhorn? I said, here I am. Big E, guess what? I practiced and rehearsed knowing I'm going to be on the horn before I got there. The day I'm practicing a couple days in advance, I know I'm on the horn. It happened, but I believed it. You couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be on the horn, and look how it happened. Chris Keefe, he got a bullhorn looking for somebody to play on it, and I'm that man.
Come on, man.
Hey, that was a great experience. We was in that town. We lit that town up, homie.
Yeah. I can remember a lot of your trips, man, to the Million Man March, you know, Genesis.
Oh, man.
I mean, the list go on and on, you know.
Sand Branch. Is that Sand Branch? What's that over there in Joppy area? Do they call that Sand Branch?
Yeah.
Well, I know Joppy I was involved in a cleanup over there.
Yeah.
Commissioner Plight put together something, and Joyce Strickland, she had an organization called Mothers Against Teen Violence because her son had got murdered. And we was on a truck, I think, headed to Joppa to get the work done. And that's when she mentioned that at her luncheon, I think that day or that week, whatever it was, Master P had been the guest and gave a big, large check. And see, at that time, I didn't even know Master P was doing good things for people.
Yeah, yeah.
And see, and he got involved in that because his brother, I think named Robert or something, had got killed. So he heard about Joyce Strickland.
Kevin Miller had been killed.
Mothers Against teen violence, and he came, participated. I wish I would known in advance because I would have been there, because my interest in Master P primarily comes from his movie Unbodied.
Yeah.
See, because I've been an aspiring actor for a long time. And that's what's interesting too. Tupac, I was following Tupac as an actor. I didn't know he was a rapper until he got shot the first time.
That's crazy.
That's how focused I be on my thing. I was in the public enemy.
Yeah.
I work a full-time job and I protest. I ain't got time to watch no live TV and listen to radios. I don't do that hardly.
Yeah.
So that's why here I'm dealing with. I didn't know the brother was a rapper till he got shot because I saw the billboard about Juice. Went and saw Juice. Then Poetic Justice. Went and saw that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Then he got shot. Rapper too about shot. I'm like, a rapper. Like I say, that just show how I be into my black thing. I don't get caught up in all this stuff they talking about.
Yeah.
Say, man. Yeah, we just keep it real.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's nothing but love.
So much, man. This means
you
the
and
world.
Your family, man. I know your mom and your pop.
That's crazy. And my wife and my kids.
Let me just say this right quick. I had thought that by me being from Philadelphia and coming here, that when I don't get the opportunity to run into people that I grew up with like I would if I lived there, this is better than that. This is where I have friends for decades in Philly and friends for decades in the new town too. It ain't new no more. I've been here longer than I've been in Philly.
Right.
But that's better than just looking at folks you used to know. You got generational folks in two towns that you've been knowing for decades. I've been knowing you 30 years.
That's strong.
Norman Dukes in Philadelphia, James Canada, and James McBride, I've been knowing them for 50 years. You feel me?
You're going to tell your age in a minute here.
I'm 62. I'm going to tell you. Okay. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm 62. Be 63 February 13th.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this and let you go. February 12th was Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Right.
February 14th, Frederick Douglass' birthday.
Right.
I'm right in the middle.
Right in the middle, man.
You hear me? There's a reason why I was born on what they used to call Negro History Week.
Come on now. We got a month now.
Yeah, you feel me? And how'd that month happen? Because I did it on my last talk. What happened was, in 1976, these Caucasians were celebrating their freedom from the UK, 200 years worth.
Yeah.
But at that time, we were still enslaved. So we need our own celebration. We going from Negro History Week to Black History Month.
Come on now.
That's what happened.
That's real.
Yeah, real. Yeah, because we was like, wait a minute, that ain't nothing for us to celebrate. About we was enslaved in 1776. So we come up with Black History Month. So we got
man, you done did a great work, man. I'm talking about some legacy work. And I just want to salute you again, man, of just being who you say you are. That's
hey, Vicky, I like the way that sounds. I hadn't heard it before. You say, okay, that must be that dude from the Minnesota Vikings where he say they was who we thought they was. You say, but we let them off the hook.
Yeah. Because some people, they're not who they say they are.
Right. That's interesting.
But that's not the case for the brother Lorenzo.
Yeah, we got a lot of perpetrators, but righteousness will overcome perpetration every time, I say.
For sure, man. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for coming, Go. I appreciate you, man. I really
appreciate you too, man. 100, man. Much love. Power to the people.
That's right. Always. Beautiful black people.